Hey guys. It's been a tough week. I'd mentioned before that this week I had lots of doctor's appointments and going back and forth for tests and everything that are kind of those like periodic things. So, once a month I have to go in for blood work and an EKG. This was also the week where I went in for an infusion for a medication that can help prevent or help with bone loss. And it goes to, usually a lot of osteoporosis patients can take it, but also people like me whose cancer has made its way to the bone. It can help re-strengthen the bones and make it so that they're not as degraded. So I did that this week. So on top of me already feeling like I have a cold, once I had it, I remembered it can also make you kind of feel like achy and kind of cold, flu-like as well. So I have both of those going for me. So woohoo. Also the phlebotomist or whatever they call it's phlebotomist, right? They all had really hard time getting blood from me this time. And I made sure I drank lots of water, and all of those things that they tell you to do. And everyone had a hard time. So my arms are kind of sore and a little bruised. But overall, I think things went well. We won't get all of the, test results and stuff back, of course, for a little while. And then next week I have my PET scan. And so this is kind of that big one. The last PET scan showed a reduction in the cancer. And so we have to hope that this next one shows either a continued reduction or that it's stable where it was, that nothing's continued to grow. So we'll see. Definitely been feeling a lot more tired this week. A lot. To the point where sitting, sitting trying to do my work, falling asleep at my desk and having to stand up and move around. The last 2 days we've worked from home, so I've taken a little bit of time to go and actually take a little nap, which has helped kind of bring me back. But man, yeah, it's been really tough. I've fallen asleep in every car ride that we have taken. And that worries me a little bit, but I mean, it's likely it's just all of the medications and everything. And if I'm getting a cold, it can be that as well. And Josh and I were actually just in the car talking about lots of different things, and we were trying to come up with what things that I can talk about. So one, of course, is just kind of how things have been going. And one of the things that he brought up, and I've briefly kind of glazed over the idea of asking for help and how hard I find that. I have a really, really hard time asking for help when I need it. And one of the biggest challenges too is that when I got re-diagnosed with this, everyone was always asking me, well, what can we do to help? What can we do to help? I don't know. I have no idea. I would love to be able to answer that question, but I don't really know. Some of my coworkers put together a meal train, and we had that for a little while, and that was really helpful to be able to not have to worry about food and thinking about what are we gonna make for dinner when everyone is tired and exhausted and emotionally and physically. So that helped for a while. Now that things are kind of more settled down and I'm not going in for an actual infusion every couple weeks, and it's just kind of a constant thing, that's kind of, we're no longer doing that. And it's also, I think that's hard too, when you get so far into your diagnosis and it's no longer that initial shock, that sometimes it's those moments when you actually do need more help than in the beginning. Just because now you're just living your day-to-day life, and sometimes that's really hard. And so, asking for any type of help beyond that, like I said, I have a really, really hard time with that. And that can be from, I have a really hard time even when Josh was like, we're going to do a GoFundMe. And I was like, it just feels so weird, to me. And I've always kind of been that person that I'm going to make my own way. I don't like asking people for money, or I don't like asking people to do things for me if I am capable of doing them. But then that's the key right there, is am I no longer capable of doing some of these things? And in some cases, yes. So, you know, and I mentioned last week having to ask, just because I'm starting to hurt so much, like my joints and things, having to actually ask, hey, I can't bend down to like do the litter box or anything anymore. You know, can someone else please take this chore from me? And asking some of those other, you know, tough questions and things, usually having to do about chores, but sometimes even like putting Rayla to bed at night. There's a lot of bending down and picking up and doing this, and I love putting her to bed, but man, does it get really tough sometimes when I'm hurting a lot, that by the time I am done putting her to bed, I'm done for the night as well. I mean, and she goes to bed pretty early. So those are some things that I really need to work on, asking for help and being okay with it. It's, I don't know if I actually ever will be okay with it, but sometimes I think I do need to either get the reminder that it's okay to ask for help, or I just need to suck it up and accept it when it's offered. So, yeah, that's about all I have to say tonight. I think I'm gonna take, I really want to go in the hot tub tonight again. You guys saw the funny video from last night. It had started to rain right before we got in the hot tub, and so I grabbed the umbrella, not realizing it was also windy, and there went the umbrella. But yeah, do that, and then I think I'm just gonna go to bed early tonight. I managed to get to bed pretty early last night too, and just try and rest and see if I can kind of get some of that energy back. So appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you tomorrow.